Shalom, shalom, shalom. Giving our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Harakakwadash. Give double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Rise up to the house of David. Aria coming back at you with another walk and talk. Go and breathe a bit. I'm taking some scenery. There's that squirrel going up there. Go and look at some of the scenery in the background. The squirrels climbing trees. Just taking in and just going in the spirit and let the breeze blow and let the spirit flow. Let the breeze blow, let the spirit flow. Talking and walking and talking in the spirit. So yeah, man. Another day closer to the end of this place. Getting closer to the end of this wicked kingdom, man. So reminder to put up those prayers that we endure to the end, Akim. May we all endure to the end and grow in the spirit and the power of Yahweh Bashim Yoshai. And if I haven't said double honors to all the elders, let me say, I think I did, but I want to get that and all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yoshai. Because if it wasn't for the Most High Yahweh Bashim Yoshai selecting our elders through the power and spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yoshai, man, who knows, man, so that's why we do that, and it's an example, because everybody has to be instructed of the Lord. Everybody needs a teacher. All teachers, all learnt ones have been taught. Yes. So yeah, man. Oh yeah, comes to mind the wise man King Solomon. Wise man King Solomon. He asked for wisdom, and the Most High gave him wisdom, and along with all other things that a man would love to have. Yeah, so that's the first thing we won't get that right, man. The priority and the reason for us coming into this truth is to grow in wisdom, knowledge and understanding, to go forward and grow. It's not about going forward and one step forward, two step backwards, as the old song, the old tune goes. One step forward, two step backward in a Babylon. Because Babylon is a sinking ship, man. Babylon is a sinking ship. So that's why we have to send out this warning. Continue to send out this warning. Yeah, this is a nice little shade spot here. While I'm out here in the treks. I may be out there later on as well, doing my little hill and gully. Because when the weather's right for it, you just feel up for it. The trekking, the hill and gully running, the spirit comes on you and you just want to you feel energized. The ever ready, or the Duracell battery spirit, because Duracell battery the Duracell battery, that battery that just has a lot of life, man, and we get energized. If you look up vitamin D from the sun, it gives you power. Jake, we are solar powered people, man. The Israelites, the so-called black people, we're solar powered people, and the ones that look like the Israelite foreigners also. If you're a Jake, you have that condition. You have that condition. What they call that? It's not vitiligo. It's a clean leper, which is now lack of pigment. But yeah, man, if you're an Israelite foreigner, you may have that lack of pigment or no color. Michael Jackson said it was vitiligo that he had, which he was bleaching himself, and that's a very popular thing that Jake does when he hates himself. A lot of the Benjamites, them over in Jamaica, they do that. They bleach themselves. They bleach themselves. You have to keep an eye on these dogs because they got the spirit of the devil in them. If they got the owners, their owners are Edomites. They got the spirit of the devil on them. So we keep an eye on them, and we're not free of dog. We just look at them in their eye and tell them to move. You understand? Do the ludicrous on them. Move. Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way. Move. Get out the way. So yeah, man. So yeah, with the Israelites, the seed of Jacob, are peculiar people, man. So there's gonna be some random thoughts going in the spirit, talking about we're talking about wisdom and growing through the power and spirit of Yahweh Shemashai, and then we got some good example. We've got a good example. I think we've touched a little bit on about this Saturday. On Saturday, we were talking a little bit about this, how wisdom. Let's go into Solomon, King Solomon. Let me slow it down. Let me slow it down. You're not on the you're not in the rat race. You got to tell yourself sometimes. You know, Bob Marley spoke about rat race. This is a rat race. This kingdom, this concrete jungle. He said, "Oh, what a rat race, rat race. Oh, what a rat race." This is a rat race, man. And we're not in the rat race. Yeah, we're on the payroll of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Yeah, that's the race we're in. And the race is not for the swift, but who can endure it. Let's hit these precepts here. These are Rectolite glasses, but I'm gonna use them for reading for now. And when I finish, I'm gonna take them off. But yeah, man. 1 Kings chapters 3. Matter of fact, I don't feel comfortable with them on, even though I prefer to have them on. I see better. I want to be able to look into the camera. You know, I'll do without them for now. I want to be able to look into the camera so that the man them can see. You can see my eyes and shit, you know. Because this is all about you know, because the eyes are the windows to the soul. So you could be able to see what I'm thinking. You understand? So yeah, man, wisdom. We spoke about wisdom, how important wisdom is. 1 Kings chapter 3. Yeah, I'll start from 10. It says, "And the speech pleased God." Let me jump up a bit, man. 1 Kings chapter 3 and verse 6 says, "And Solomon said, Thou hast showed unto thy servants David my father great mercies, according to he asked before this truth. Great mercies, according as he walked before thee in truth and in righteousness and in uprightness and of heart with thee, and thou hast kept for him this great kindness." Right. I can see blurry, but you know what? I'll sacrifice that just so I can look into the eyes of the camera, and vice versa. "Great kindness that thou hast given him, a son to sit on his throne as it were this day. And now, our Lord my God, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father. I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in." Yeah, he was a young man, man. He, as it says there, was but a little child. And today, if you're around that age, that young age, 12, you're considered a child. But according to the laws, you're an adult. But in this particular verse, it doesn't say how old he is, but he says he's a young child. So he was young, but he had a great responsibility. Right? "My father, I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. And thy servant is in thy midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitudes. Give thy servants. Give, therefore, thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad, for who is able to judge this thy so great a people? Let that marinate, let that settle. The Most High, man, he's a marvelous man. You see, he asked for wisdom, which showed, even though he was a little child, he had a good measure. He had a good measure of wisdom to start with, anyway, because he knew to ask for wisdom. There was a great multitude that he was going to rule over as a young man, and he knew he had enough sense, enough common sense, which wisdom and sense today is not very common. This is a very froward people, a sottish people, which means foolish. Froward people, which means cruel in speech. So this people is very far from having wisdom today, especially today, man. The standards of behavior is deteriorated greatly in the men and the women. The standards, which that all goes back to prophecy, that all goes back to who is the ruler of this place. Because the servants are instructed by the rulers, and they will become like their kings, like their instructors. And Second Timothy chapters 3 talks about in the last days men will be headstrong, puffed up, all the traits of the devil. People are going to have more of the traits of the devil. These people have the traits of the devil because the spirit of the devil is in the air, and you can see it in the people. You can see the demons in the people. Yeah, man. The more you get closer in the spirit to Yahweh Shem Yeshua, you can see that this place is polluted with abominations, and you can see the demons on the people, man. And I've been doing my little fasting, and that puts you in it heightens your senses as well as being physically good for you. I felt very good. Like last night, I felt like I had a detox fast, which seems to have detoxed my body and cleared my mind, for in the spirit and physically. So the intermittent fasting, I'm getting more and more into that as the elders and the apostles are talking about that. As we draw near and more closer to the end, man, we want to get more into that. Abarat we get closer to Yahweh Shem Yeshua as this kingdom shows the signs that it's going down, the sinking ship, man, as they're going to start introducing this digital currency and eventually the MOTB, man. Yeah, the mark of the beast. Yeah. So the prophecies are falling into place as they were prophesied they would be. We're in that hopeful year, and we're still hoping and praying, man. So Abaratazar, we keep praying, and we're looking at this example now of 1 Kings 3, the blueprint, because if you can receive it, King Solomon was Yahushua, right? The wisest man that walked the earth. Yahushua was the wisest man that walked the earth, which, as we're talking about King Solomon. So, in the reincarnation. So, give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy servant, this so great a people? And that's what we do. We follow suit with that. Our day to day, we pray also for wisdom. You don't stop when you come behind, enter over the line. When you were standing at the side, listening to the brothers and being instructed of the Lord by, through the prophets. It don't stop when you step over the line. When you now join the brotherhood, the group, don't stop there. You keep asking for wisdom, because you're going to need to be a judge. We're instructed to be judges and to rule with wisdom, man. Because we're dealing with, all different types of people in our day-to-day life. We're dealing with the brotherhood, and brothers come out of the world with traits on them, with all different types of conditions, mindsets, and we need to grow to be able to judge, grow in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, grow in broad-mindedness, because we're young too. Regardless of what we may have learned, when you come into the truth, you are born again. So you're being born again in the spirit. and you're going to need to learn. You're going to need to be instructed. Every pupil needs an instructor, needs a teacher, and we're learning. Abu Ratazar, we continue to learn. That's why we're looking to this example here, and this is the only I'm just going to break this down, and I think the point would be made, man. So this is what King Solomon out for, and that's in that reminds me of all those movies years ago, the Sinbad movies. If you heard of Sinbad Voyager, Sinbad Eye of the Tiger, all the Sinbad movies that go back years, starting from the late 50s. All those Sinbad movies, and they had a genie, and I think even Will Smith done one. I never watched it. I'm not interested in most of these movies today. But the one with Will Smith, and I think he played the genie that was in the bottle, and you rub the genie, and the genie comes out, either knowingly or unknowingly. You rub the bottle, and the genie comes out the bottle, and he gives you 3 wishes, and then you ask, so you may use up your 3 wishes, and then you have no wishes left. But in this case, this, like I say, it reminds me of that movie, Sinbad, because all the movies there was a genie in it. Sinbad, the Eye of the Tiger, Sinbad Voyager, Sinbad Prince, all those Sinbad. There's a lot of them. And the genie that comes out, he asks, "Would you I would now grant you 3 wishes." But in this case, you might say Yahweh was Sinbad's or Solomon's genie, and he asked him what he wanted. He gave him 1 wish, and a wise man, which the wise man was Solomon, and he asked for the best thing you could ask for. When you put it in perspective, he asked for wisdom, which would be a wish that my wishes would never run out. So if he was given 1 wish, in this case it was 1 wish. So if he was given 1 wish by that genie, and you said, well, I would like for this wish to never run out, for an infinity amount of wishes, then that's what a wise man would do. And like I say, King Solomon, a child at that stage, he knew, even then, to ask for wisdom, which would be having wishes to infinity, because he was blessed with, let me carry on. 10 says, wisdom, 1 Kings 3 and 10 says, and the speech pleased the Lord that Solomon had asked this thing. And God said unto him, because thou hast asked this thing, and hast not asked for thyself long life, neither hast asked riches for thyself, nor hast asked for life of thine enemy, but hast asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and understanding heart, a broad mind to understand people, to lead, to instruct, to discern between right and wrong. Yeah? I have given thee a wise and understanding heart, so that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee. And that was true. That was a true statement. There was no king came after Solomon wiser, but there was a wise man, which was Solomon. As you can receive it through the Spirit, that was Yahushua, man. Yeah, and that was him. So that was a true statement. There was no wiser man after King Solomon, because King Solomon came back as Yahushua, which was him anyway in the reincarnation, and he was the wisest man that walked the earth. Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and understanding heart. Yeah, the birds are chiming in. They agree. So that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee. And I have also given thee that which thou hast not asked for, both riches and honor, so that there shall not be any among the kings like unto thee all thy days. Yeah, so that's exactly what I was looking for. The blueprint. King Solomon, the wisest man that walked the earth, the wisest king, ruler, instructor, man of the Lord, prophet. He had many titles that walked the earth. So yeah, man, that was a example there. One blueprint to follow, and that's also in Chronicles as well. Second Chronicles 1 talks about the same story, goes into the same story, you know, and we have extreme good examples of what he did right, but also, even though he was wise, you know, scriptures talk about great men and always wise. He went off. He married those foreign women, and it wasn't the fact that he married them. It was the fact that and it wasn't the fact that he had many wives. It was the fact that he started to bow down and worship their gods. That is where he went off. So even though he was wise. Great men are not always wise, but that was also written as an instruction, as also not to become the word complacent, pride. Yeah, because many men fall because of pride, arrogancy. Many men fall because of that, overconfidence. And he started to leave the Lord. You know, he went astray. He left the Lord. But that was in his old age. Started to marry foreign women, which was nothing was wrong with that. But he fell in love with them. That was where he went off. He fell in love with them, and once he fell in love with them, he started to worship their gods. So that's the moral of the story. Yeah, doesn't matter even if you have wisdom. Doesn't matter if you're a man of the Lord. You can still go off. Yeah. Pride before fall. So we learn from those both extremes from King Solomon, to ask for wisdom, but also to stay on point with it and to stay humble with it, not let it go to your head. Don't let it go to your head now, you see. So we learn there's two good morals there, what we just looked at there. To ask for wisdom, we're young in the truth. We need wisdom to guide us in our day-to-day life, to deal with our brothers right in righteousness and in justly, to shepherd the flock, to welcome brothers coming out of the world as we were once in the world, so that we can be understanding, merciful. Mercy is a very good trait to have, not to forget that mercy too, because the Most High says, if you deal in mercy, he will deal with you in mercy. Wisdom gives you those things. Wisdom is the prime thing. With all that getting, get wisdom, get understanding. Yeah. So that's the wish. If we was given a wish, as what we saw with King Solomon, he was given that wish and he asked for wishes to infinity. That's what you do. Yeah, that's what he did. He asked for wisdom. Let's hit this one here now. Yeah. Ecclesiastes 9. This is Solomon again. And 16 says, Then said I, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. Yeah, but the point I wanted here was that wisdom is better than strength. Wisdom is better than strength, physical strength, man. Because you know what? If you lack strength and you have wisdom, you can grow in strength. Strength in the mind, and you can do the right thing with the body, as we're doing, as we're learning to do with the intermittent fasting, the herbs. We're learning about the herbs. We're getting into it. We're detaching ourselves from the witchcraft of the pharmaceutical companies, all the witchcraft that break you down, and the food, slowly but surely, through the power and spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yeshua. In his time, we're getting away from this abominable concrete jungle, eating the lawful foods to the best of our ability. The scriptures does say that we have to eat our food. Is that Ezekiel 4:12? We have to eat this bread, defiled bread. So we can't avoid it completely, but to the best of our ability, we're drawing away from the ways of this world, and getting closer to Yahweh Hashem Yeshua. And that's all because we're applying wisdom and growing in wisdom. Abba Ratazar, we continue to grow. Yes, so wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. It don't matter if people don't listen. Yeah, it doesn't make this truth in effect if they don't believe. It's just we're going to benefit from it, and all those that take heed and listen, they benefit from it. If it doesn't apply to you, it doesn't appeal to you, then it's not for you, man. It doesn't make the truth ineffective. Yeah. So the words of the wise men are heard in quiet, more than the cry of him that ruleth among fools. Wisdom is better than weapons of war. Yeah, man. He thinks he's secure with his weapons of war, his intercontinental ballistic missiles, his fighter pilot jets, his Black Hawk helicopters. He thinks that makes him wise and secure. His Apache attacking helicopters. Well, we know what's happening with them. There's a grounding that took place because of what's been happening over the past 2 years. The aviation, the major aviation or incompetence of their weaponry falling out the sky, crashing into each other, which goes back to, I'll say, through the Spirit, Yahushua's angels. He's sending his angels, his chariots against them, his UFOs, and he's making them, showing them how incompetent and how useless they are. Their aviation, major aviation deficiencies, incompetencies of their weaponry. Goes back to this precept. So wisdom is better than weapons of war. Wisdom is better than all those technology, all those weapons of war. And the Most High is showing us that in the Spirit. And that's beautiful how the Most High does that. Yeah? Again, with all that getting, get understanding, get wisdom. Yeah? The prime example is what we just looked at in the story of young man King Solomon asking for wisdom. Proverbs 8:11 says, for wisdom is better than rubies and all the things that may be desired, and not to be compared to it. Nothing's compared to wisdom. Better than rubies, man. Better than all those them beautiful, expensive diamonds, what you see in the jewelry shops. The rubies, the cut rubies, and rubies is a very, very nice thing. Very valuable too. You know, the value of those gemstones is high, but it's not compared to wisdom. Yeah, sapphires, all the things you can mention, gold. Let's carry on reading. Yeah, better than rubies and all the things that may be desired, and are not to be compared to it. Nothing can be compared with it. And wisdom dwelleth in prudence, and findeth out knowledge of witty inventions. Yeah, people talk about, we had that Egyptologist come up Saturday, showing interest. He seemed to be showing some sincere interest. Now, the Most High is, he's the ultimate judge, but he was asking some good questions, talking about the pyramids, talking about the all the different inventions that the Egyptians made. See, but the scriptures says here, that's why we read this precept. Yeah, wisdom dwelleth in prudence, and findeth out knowledge of witty inventions. Which anyway, the slaves, the so-called slaves, or these slaves, was used in Egypt, which were Israelites anyway, to build up these things, these inventions. And all the inventions anyway, what the Egyptians have, was given to them by the Most High. As we're talking about, these weapons of war, these inventions, the Empire State Building, the churches, there was a church spiral that was struck by lightning just about a couple of weeks ago. A church spiral in Spencer was struck by lightning. That's just to show you, man. The Empire State Building also was struck by lightning. These are the inventions of the Egyptians today, the modern day Egyptians. The Most High struck these buildings down and burnt them down to the ground with fire, and struck them with lightning, and they just go just like that. The Empire State Buildings, and he can do that to the White House, which was it 2020, a couple of years ago. A couple of trees around the White House were stricken with lightning around the White House in Washington DC, and that easily could have been the White House. It's just to show you, those trees were burned up, and people who was near to the trees got struck with lightning, severely injured, and some died. The power of the Most High. See? So wisdom dwelleth with the prudent, man. The men them that are today in this truth today, if we stay close by and let ourselves continue to be instructed of the Lord, accept that wisdom, to have humility you need humility to be able to keep that wisdom and grow in wisdom, because you have to be instructed, is with the prudent. Yeah, so it's prudence to grow and learn in wisdom. It's prudent. which wisdom is the application of knowledge, which the wisdom that you get is from on high. There is nothing to be compared, as we're looking at. Yeah, wisdom from above. There's nothing that can be compared with the wisdom that comes from above, because the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. Goes into that in Corinthians. The wisdom of this world is foolishness with God, and the wisdom of this world is not knowledge. Wisdom of wickedness is not knowledge. It's folly. That's in Sirach also. Sirach chapters 19 and 24. As a matter of fact, let's hit that one, and we're gonna come back to this. Talking about the wisdom of this world. It's folly with God, man. Let's just get that one and come back. Wisdom of this world. So yeah, we won't hit this one. Sirach chapters 19, 22 says, the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. Right? Knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. Yeah? Knowledge of all the inventions of this world, the Egyptians, the witchcraft that they do, the ability to heal people with their AI inventions, artificial intelligence, is not wisdom with God, it's folly. And just like that, all these computer, because everything's turning to be made by computers now. Everything is going to be run by the AI now, artificial intelligence. That's what it's going to be run by. So yeah, all it takes for that is just to be switched off or hacked, just like that. They're using all the AI inventions, AI technology to run everything. Now they're using the AI to plant seeds, to do their farming, to do their farming, to plant seeds, to grow, to keep everything running in these so-called farms. Imagine that, running the farms with artificial intelligence. What's the other thing now that they're doing? Running it with their corporations rather than using people, with using reproducing the garbage, the recycling business, which is a massive business of recycling rubbish, all controlled with AI. And all it takes is for the Most High, which is demons. Elon Musk spoke about with where we're summoning the demon, you know. So that's going to be, so everything's going to be run left hand side, and all it takes is for the Most High to just hack it, or the angels. You can use the angels to just hack it and switch it off just like that. See, these are the inventions of Egypt, man. They're nothing, and it's foolishness with God. The inventions and the wisdom of this world is folly with God. Right? Yeah. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence is not prudence. Yeah? But here it goes on to say in 24 of Sirach 19, he that hath small understanding and feareth God, he that hath small understanding and feareth God, yeah, is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High. He that is small understanding, that feareth God, is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the laws of the Most High. So you can have a lot of wisdom, but you don't apply the wisdom. You don't apply all the precepts that you know. You know, you could be very, very book smart. You know, which we was talking about that guy that came up Saturday. He had some knowledge, some wisdom of wickedness, but it doesn't make you prudent. If you don't fear the Lord, wisdom comes in fearing the Lord. That's where the prudence is. It's not in being book smart. Now, if you're dealing with that and you're reading with the fear of the Lord, you use it and you add that in moderation, because scriptures talk about reading of many books is weariness of the soul. Reading of many books is weariness of the soul. Those many books are other additional books that don't concern this truth, can be weariness to the soul. But the ultimate book is the scriptures, the Bible. That's the book we want to get in and get into. And if we get bogged down with any book, that would be the book we get bogged down in. The Bible, the scriptures, yeah? The banner, the Lord's banner that was given to Yahshua Allah, and Yahshua Allah only, yeah? Yeah? So he that hath small understanding and fear of God is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High. So those that have much wisdom, you had some that was in this truth for a period of time, some quite a while compared to us, some of us brothers, being in the truth quite longer than us. But they started to disrespect and disregard the wisdom of the Lord and fell away, which they was given over to Satan. Yeah? So a small understanding, he that hath small understanding and fear of God is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High. You learn a couple of scriptures, you apply them. You may have small understanding, but if you're applying those little amount of scriptures that you know, you're better than a man that have much wisdom but transgressive the law, that men that been in the truth and left. You apply what little that you know. Now you want to apply more, you want to grow and learn more, yeah? Because he that endureth to the end is the one that will be saved. That's what it's about. Getting that wisdom and enduring to the end and growing in wisdom. You want to grow in wisdom, but what you do know, put it into practice, and you find favor. Abaratazar, you will find favor with the Lord. Enough said on that. He that hath small understanding and fear of God is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High. Why? Because knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudent. Kala Yahweh B'Hashem Yoshai. Now I want to get back to this one. Yeah, the wisdom dwelleth in prudence, right? So we were at Proverbs chapters 8 and 12 says, wisdom dwelleth with prudence and findeth out knowledge of witty inventions. Yeah, all those inventions of the Egyptians. We're going to find out those inventions anyway, and they're foolishness to the Most High. But we're still going to have knowledge to be able to deal with that. King Solomon, a wise man, King Solomon, spoke about that in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7 and 17. We're going to have knowledge about all those things, the inventions of men, the psychology of men, botany, the plants, the herbs, the trees, the stones, the animals. We're going to even league with the animals. And we can go on. 13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. We hate this blasted place. That's why we put up curses on it almost every night. Put up curses on this place. We want to see this sinking ship go down and take the wicked with them. Take all the wicked with them. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride, and we hate pride. Yeah? And arrogancy. We hate arrogancy. And the evil way. Right? And we hate the men that are doing evil. They're doing nothing but evil in this place. Shalak Ram be upon all those men that do evil and wickedness and hate Yahshua Allah, the children of the Lord. Shalak Ram wa Ragma wa Mashapajam be upon them. Aita, Babakusha, Babakusha. The word of my prayer to war. Yeah? So we hate evil, the evil way, and the froward mouth do I hate. And Most High says he hates all those things. And the froward mouth, the cruel people. He hates that. But wisdom dwelleth with the prudence and findeth out knowledge of witty inventions. So the highest thing you can do, the highest thing that you can have, as we just looked at those examples, is wisdom. We've got one more we won't get in, and we will end with this. Because there was other wise prophets as well that walked the earth. Yeah? And I want to leave you with this one, Akim. This was another young man, Daniel. Daniel chapters 1 and verse 19 says, and the king communed with them, and among them all was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore stood they before the king. So, yeah, the king summoned the Daniel and the other 3 young men, as we just read there. Yeah, he summoned them because he wanted an answer to his dream, the dreams that he was getting, the terrifying dream that he was getting. It goes more into that in Daniel 7 as well, and Daniel chapters 2. that terrifying dream that he was getting. He wanted it to be interpreted. 20 says, and in all the matters of wisdom and understanding that the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers that were in all his realm. Because the astrologers and the magicians couldn't break down the dream, couldn't interpret the dream. But only Daniel could do it with his other 3 young men, his 3 young brethren them. Yeah? Hananiah, Mishael, and Hazariah. Hananiah, Mishael, and Hazaniah. It's only 4 of them that could really interpret that dream. And really feed the king. Because why? Because they had wisdom from on high. The highest form of wisdom you can get. So yeah, man, I want to leave it there, Akim. I want to chew on that and meditate on that. The church out there, Abba Ratazar, was edifying. So that's why we read into that, man. We keep on asking for that wisdom because it is very beneficial, right? Proverbs chapter 16 and 16 says, how much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather to be chosen than silver. Kala Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Rakah Wadash. And that's what we want to leave it there, man. In all I get in, get wisdom, get understanding, because it will preserve our lives. In all I get in, get wisdom, get understanding. Wisdom alone preserves our lives. Yes. All praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Rakah Wadash. I'm going to read this one again, because I think it makes a massive statement, a massive impression. This race is not for the swift, but who can endure it. Yeah? Wow, let's read it again. Let's read it again, Akim. Sirach chapters 9 and 11 says, and I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, neither yet riches to men of understanding. Right? Because yeah, it's not about might, physical might. It's not even about high levels of intelligence. It's not even about that. Yeah, ultimately it's about if we're chosen and we're of that elect seed. Ultimately, so it's not even about might, swiftness. It's not even about wisdom. It's actually about the elect. If you are of the elect, man, and you're chosen of the Most High. Now, if you're of the elect, the Most High is going to give you those things anyway. As we just saw the example of Solomon, he was given wisdom, knowledge and understanding, riches, gold and silver, the neck of his enemies, women. He was given those things anyway. But ultimately, it's if you're of the elect. Yeah? I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakah Kodash. Jump down to 16. Then I said, wisdom is better than strength. Wisdom is better than strength. Yeah, wisdom is better than weapons of war. Yeah, wisdom is better than strength. Wisdom is better than weapons of war. But the race is not for the swift, but who can endure it. Ultimately, if we're of the elect, we're going to endure to the end. Kala Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakah Kodash. Give double honor to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and the house of David is rising, and everything the wicked have done to us, past, present, and future, is falling upon their own head. In order I get wisdom, get understanding. Yeah? And he that endures to the end is one that will be saved. The race is not for the swift, but who can endure it? Shalom to the next one. 4-4 up there. 4-4. 22. So yeah, man. Until the next one, Akim, we out.